is, John. Coming back from the hoedown.
Dude, he sent me that picture a little earlier. I was like, what in the fuck are you doing? It reminded me of a story Billy told me once about playing the Sausage Fest or something.
Okay.
And Billy, and this was with Warrant. You know, it's one thing if it's a cover band. It's another thing if it's a national touring band. But they played some kind of sausage festival, and it was the same kind of thing. It was inside a barn, and people were sitting on hay, and they pulled cars up around the back end to light the stage. And Billy was like, "What the fuck is this? I'm in a touring band, and this is what I get. I get car lights for stage lights."
Yeah.
I guess when you're not set up for it, you do what you got to do. But, oof.
Well, that's what they do over here at there's a small town over here called Hobart, and every year they have the JC's Fest over there.
Okay.
And they bring in 2 flatbed tractor trailers and they park them side by side, and that's the stage.
Right.
And then they rope off the parking lot at the grocery store there where this thing is held.
Right.
And they turn it into, quote unquote, a beer garden.
Okay.
And then they bring in acts like LA Guns, and they had LA Guns there, and they had Bullet Boys there once, and they had Warrant there one time, and it's basically just a roped off part of the parking lot with the flatbed trailers for the stage, and vendors out there selling beer, and they've got some picnic tables and some folding chairs out there, and that's it.
Right. I've only been to one of these real janky shows like this. This was a long time ago now, probably 15, 18 years ago. It's back when I was on MMS. And you probably remember this, the fans won't, but do you remember how for, I don't know, like a 3-year period, the thing around Cleveland music was that they were shooting independent movies in town, and they were asking all the Cleveland bands to be in, like, to provide music for the soundtracks. Do you remember this at all?
Yeah, just vaguely.
Well, somehow Matt and I, with the metal show, got involved with one of these things as like the official sponsor of the music of some bullshit movie that to my knowledge, never even got made. But they arranged it to have this show, and they had us put it together, a show to raise money for this movie. And so we put together a show, and it was Girth. Girth was the headliner, and this band called Mojo, which the girl Jackie is now in Mushroomhead and Unsaid Fate and whatnot, and it was her and her brothers and whatnot, and it was kind of like a Fish type of a band. It was it was odd, but we put them on it.
They were like a jam band.
Yeah. They were like before Girth, and then somebody else. I don't remember who the other band was. So this place was way the fuck out east, like past like East Lake and Paynesville and all that other shit. I mean, way east.
Going out toward the PA line on the coast.
Right.
Like Geneva on the lake, way out there.
Somewhere out there. At some dumb campground. So we get there, and we ask for directions for the stage, and they point us over to it's an old, like a covered wagon. But the cover's been taken off it, but the wheel it still has the big stupid wheels on it. But then it's like a flat thing, and that's the stage. And then there's probably 10 sheets of I don't know what do you call it? Just like wood that they would use for a roof.
Plywood?
Yeah, just plywood panels, big plywood panels that are set in front of this, so that's where people will dance or stand or whatever they're gonna do. So we look at this and we're like, what in the fuck? So Girth gets up and they're so used to it because they're a local band. They're used to playing anywhere, wherever you say to play, they'll play as long as they're getting their check. So they get setting up on this thing, and they do their sound check. Well, as they're doing their sound check, this fucking thing is just rocking back and forth, but not the way it should be with the wheels, like against the wheel.
Right.
Because they're hitting the drums and stuff and playing, and this thing is just shaking and shaking. And I when they came off, Angry Pat, who was the guitar player, comes to me, he goes, "What you think?" I was like, "Dude, that thing is gonna fucking collapse." And he's like, no, it's not gonna collapse. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So get moving toward the show. First band plays, no real issue. The second band plays, they're kind of a jam band. So there's not really a lot of motion. And when it did come to that, Jackie and the guitar players kind of jumped off and they jumped off this covered wagon, and they were just kind of playing and singing on the ground, like almost like they were scared to be on this stupid thing. So finally it gets time for Girth to play. They get up there, and Girth was a heavy band. They were in that like Pantera-ish style.
Okay.
So they're playing their asses off, and they're playing, and then all of a sudden you hear, and you're like, what the fuck just happened? The fucking thing rocked so far back that the drums flipped over and the drummer fell off the back.
Nice.
He fell right off the back end of because he had his stool like right on the back end of this thing, and he fell off and the drums fell back with him and some of them on top of him and stuff. It was the funniest fucking thing I'd ever seen. And even though he got all bloodied up from the drums hitting him in the face, we laughed and laughed about it.
Nice.
It was funny as fuck to see. I wish there was video of that, because he just poop right off the fucking back.
Yeah. Well, it's really funny that when, people who are, they want to put on a show and they're not professionals and they have zero experience. It's fun, the accommodations that they think is adequate.
Yeah.
And you go, well, where's this and where's that, and how are we going to do this? And they just look at you like, I don't know what you're talking about,
Yeah. Dude, it's always fun because they just think that you plug into something and play.
Exactly.
What do you guys need? I gave you a surge protector. What else do you need?
Well, that just reminds me, it's already been it's been like 11 years, almost 12 years already that we did that thing out there at Nelson's Ledges.
Oh yeah.
And we made it work. We broadcast live out there wirelessly across a park.
Yeah. Well, we made it work because you crawled up on the top of a building,
a tool shed,
like a fucking carpenter or a roofer or something. You're climbing up to set this thing up high enough to catch an internet signal.
It's the funniest goddamn thing. I rolled out 100 feet of Ethernet cable, ran it up inside of a tool shed building, and I mounted a wireless router on top of a building so our laptop computers that we were broadcasting from would make a wireless signal so we could broadcast live, and it actually worked.
It worked. That was the crazy part, is it did work. That was a goofy festival. There were so many goofy things about that, whether it was the drunk guy that we discovered or
at the end,
or me trying to get Scotty's kid, who was like 3 at the time, to swear on the air.
Right.
There was that all going on.
And our good friend our good friends Red and Jerry actually made the trip down.
Yeah, they drove in from Wisconsin into that fucking disaster, and they were like, "What the fuck is this?"
But we did it. We broadcast live. We made it work, and you actually got up on stage and sang with that. Who did you sing with? Did you sing
Battery?
Yeah, I think so. You were up there singing a Metallica song.
I sang Enter Sandman with Battery, or whatever they were called, Disposable Heroes. I don't remember what the band name was.
Battery. It was Battery.
Yeah. But yeah, I did. They had me come up, and I got up there and sang Enter Sandman.
Yeah, it was sort of like a cover fest type thing where bands came in and did cover songs. There was like a Megadeth tribute band, wasn't there?
There was a Megadeth. There was a Motorhead. There was I forget who the others were. There was obviously the Metallica one. There was a bunch. It was like all day. It was all tribute bands all day, I think, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a good time.
Yeah, it was definitely different for sure. I mean, there was at one point though, even before we got started, because you just have very low tolerance if things just aren't working right. You were ready to just trash the whole thing and walk out of there.
Yep.
Even before,
I sure was.
Even before we got started.
You're like, well, I'll just climb up on top of this. You were like, I'll just climb up on top. I'm like, fuck this. Let's just go home. Let's just leave. Fuck this. Yeah, I have no patience for that shit.
I know you don't, but yeah, it was definitely a different thing for us to do it, but we made it work though, and that's the part.
That was and it was a fun time. We did have a fun time.
Yeah, we did.